got game and pulled out his own Atari. I said sorry, I'ma have to pass like Nash to Amari. Tiger up early on a Sunday, sinking birdies while the pigskin spinning through the air, tight and birdie. It's a TD, it's a TKO, a home run, it's a hat trick. Ain't no way to be an all-star without practice. So if you down to sacrifice your life for a draft pick, it's a pretty sweet position. You can live in if you have some things in the air. If you got game, wiggle like you just don't care. If you got game, playing like you got no fit, and you got game. If you came here to win, yeah, you got game.
And welcome to rBeatz.com, rBeatz Studio here. We got local music somewhere, and in the studio with me today, I have probably my twin. We've known each other a while. We're not really related, but we are two people in the industry that have definitely worked in so many different avenues. But Tina Gibson still is concert promoter, has been an artist manager. She's worked in the retail side of things. And I could go on and on with the list because we've been involved in a few things together. But she is the master, and so we're going to delve into this today. This is going to be for all the artists that just want to know how some of this stuff works so you can better submit yourself. And also for the music fan that wants to see behind the scenes. So tell your friends to join us. So welcome to the show, Tina. How are you?
I'm doing great, my friend. How are you?
I am good. And I don't know. We always, when we get on the phone, we have at least our phone conversations.
Yes, we do.
This should be pretty easy to run through, right?
Yeah.
So this is one thing that I've noticed since I've been doing the show. I'll have these industry people that seems like I've known forever. But then when I research them for the show, I was like, I had no idea that they did these things, way before I knew them. With you, that was the case. I know you from your company, Imagine Music Group. I know the concert stuff that you've done, and of course you've helped quite a few of my artists. We'll talk about that, in a little bit here. But I did not know that you started in the record retail part of it, and I did not know about your affiliation with one of the iconic names that used to be in video rental, as we named our first big amphitheater here after. So let's talk about that. So how did this whole thing start?
Well, I started out at a time when they did not have schools that you could go to, so I don't know if that dates me, but but
we'll say that was last week.
Was one of those people that just knew from the time I think from high school what I wanted to do, which was I wanted to be a manager and have a successful management company in the industry. And I felt like in order to do that and be an advisor to my clients, I had to learn about every aspect of the business. So I sat down and made a chart, looked at the different areas, and then I went out and worked in all of it and got the life experience of it. And later on, realized I didn't need to do all that, but I don't regret any of it 1 second because it has helped me in every aspect of my job since then. So
yeah, and you know, one thing with back then, because I did similar things when I was first getting in it. I don't know if I worked in every area. I worked in a few areas. But I would just go sit at, I think it was it Barnes & Noble way back then? It might have been another chain like Dalton or one of those. But I would just sit there and I would read every industry book that I could find, because that's when they first started coming out. It used to be you had books about the artist, but all of a sudden Ken Cragen and these other people started putting out books about the industry. Yeah. And I read everything on those, and that was, the big help for me. But then you find out later on, artist management has changed a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I jump back into that, these days, but
Me
back
neither.
back then it was a thing. You loved being, and then Ken Cragen was my idol then. He managed Lionel Richie
fantastic.
And created, We Are the World with Lionel and Michael and The Hands Across America. I heard somebody reference that the other day. They'd done so. I love the concepts of what they were doing. Yeah. But what I do see that this led you into, from having to learn those other things, it led you into some of the bigger things, that you're really doing now. Yeah. But let's go back and let's talk about where you used to work. Because you were the PR?
So I was director of public relations for Blockbuster Pavilion.
Blockbuster, don't hear that name anymore.
You don't hear that anymore, but that was what is now known as PNC Music Pavilion.
Great place.
It's, I think it's 18,000 capacity venue and I worked in the marketing department along with the marketing director, and I handled PR. And one of my best moments from taking that job was I got sent to by the company, paid for, to be trained by the top entertainment PR company at that time in the country. And so they sent me for a month to be trained by these folks, and could not have had a better, more valuable experience than that. And I still to this day use tools that I learned back then.
So how did you, I would say, what led you to transition out of those things into forming Imagine Music Group?
Well, I'd always had Imagine Music Group in the back of my mind. It's my favorite word. But I wanted to, my original plan always was to be an artist manager and learn all the different aspects of the business. So I started out in record retail because that was easy to get in at that time. And then from there, I was offered a job by a manager of a popular regional, which went international, band called Sugar Creek.
Oh, I remember those guys.
Yeah. And I went from there to working in their office with their manager and creating a fan club for them, handling their record label, also being their publicist. And that was the time that they were on Star Search.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah. So I got a lot of great experience there, and actually left there and then came back when they had a new album launch, and they'd asked me to come back and help out with that. But then from there, I moved into radio, and I worked for what used to be WROQ. Mm-hmm. But when I joined it, it was 95 Double Q and Sports 610. Actually, I was there when they launched Sports 610. And so I was the promotions director. So I learned everything I could about how radio worked and how records got added and things like that. So every job I went into, I tried to learn as much as I could. I was like a sponge. I couldn't get enough information.
You have to be. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And if you have that kind of dream, then you don't know it all.
Yeah.
And, you're around those kind of people. You listen to everything you can, and how could I do it different, or how did they do it so great that you can't match it? But what can you come up with?
Well, I think every experience you have in life, you should be able to learn from it and take with it. I mean, every job I ever worked, whether it was, radio, television, film, or record retail, or PR at Blockbuster, I still use those skills today that I learned back then, but also still made a lot of networking contacts too.
Oh, networking is the thing.
Yeah.
Just like me and you. We'll run into that in a minute, but just the fact you were talking about movies and film, Doug Whitley, who was my first boss on any kind of motion picture when I worked
my best friends.
I know, it turns out to be your best friend.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. I still, if I show up on a set somewhere, I think the last set I was on was Eyes of Tammy Faye, and it seemed like he was on that one too. I think he was the guy that drove me up to base camp.
He's retired now, but I started out working with him as well and worked locations with him, and he actually hired me to do locations for the D.L. Hughley comedy special.
Oh yeah.
At Blumenthal that was filmed there. So I talked to him yesterday. So
that's super cool.
He's a good man, definitely.
So let's talk about. I think it's kind of funny how we met. I always believe you connect with people for a reason, and you and I have definitely. I mean, we've known each other years now. Mm-hmm. But when it first happened, it was a weird circumstance in that I was helping this one gentleman who was doing some great things with video for a lot of the names people know out there, rock names. And he managed one of the bigger Southern rock names, but he was telling me about an up-and-coming name that he was working with, and he put me in touch with you. Yeah. I think your husband was the guitarist maybe in this band,
he was,
if I'm not mistaken. Okay. And so we started talking, and we'd have phone conversations, and then he sent me this video of this group that was one of the major groups that I really liked, and I wanted to work on the project, and he said, call me back in 2 weeks. And I called him, and he wouldn't answer the phone. Mm-hmm. And I checked with my friends. Well, it turned out he had passed away.
Yes.
And his phone was still on. And, I just had no idea that was happening.
Yeah.
So that was pretty sad. But then I found out I was moving to Charlotte, and you were the only person I knew in the music industry in Charlotte. So I first got down here, and you were, I think there was like an event. I'm not sure if you were holding this event or somebody else, but it was a networking with industry pros in Charlotte kind of event.
Me,
yeah. And so I went with my friend Coco, which we both know Coco.
Yes.
And I got to meet you in person, and
We've been friends ever since.
Yeah. Bounced a lot of ideas off of each other.
Without a doubt, yeah.
and you've been so good to, when I had a band I was working with or something, you've had them, opening for people, which, has been great. And I think my favorite moment of all of that was when I found that you were doing Toto, and it was last minute, and they had sold out.
Yeah.
But you arranged for me still to get in the show.
Absolutely.
With a well-placed chair. It was very cool. So I tell everybody that story. But
great show, wasn't it?
Yes. But one of the things that people need to know about you in Charlotte, they see a lot of things happening with all the new venues that are happening here, and the music conferences and all such great things. The hard work is behind that. But you were the predecessor behind it all.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, I know so. I was here. I know for sure you were.
Yeah.
And you created this thing. Was it called the Charlotte Entertainment Network?
It was the Carolina Entertainment
Network. And that was one of the first things that I got to go see. And I met a lot of the industry people in this area through that, and artists that I still know to this day.
That was the intention of it. It was all I've worked with musicians my entire life, and all I heard was complaints about they're not getting this, they're not getting that, they're not treated this way, they're not treated that way. And so a lot of their complaints were lack of knowledge of how the industry works. And so I always wanted to create something that was a support network for them, to give them education, but also give them tools as well. So my goal with the Carolina Entertainment Network was to, one, create a united music community here in the Carolinas, but also, two, to be able to have these opportunities where some bands may not even know about other bands that are here, to connect and network, and maybe they can creatively combine and do some things. But also, two long-term goals were to provide a group health insurance program, to have a facility to where it had a recording studio and practice rooms that they could come and do those things affordably, because we all know musicians don't have a lot of money.
Right.
And so,
at least starting off.
Starting off, yeah. And so, it was really important to me. It was a passion project. And I think when I resigned, we had over 500 members at that time.
I didn't even realize that it had gotten that far.
Yeah.
I knew it was big, but I didn't know it had gotten.
We held monthly mixers that were networking opportunities.
I actually got to teach at one of those.
Yeah, and you did great. And that was one of the things, too. These mixers were for people to connect, but also learn. Yeah. And then also reward the businesses that were supporting music, live music in our area. Because nobody was actually telling these businesses that were continually having live music, thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
And so that was our way of giving back to them.
Well, let's talk about this. It's not on my list here, but I want to go into first. Tell them what Imagine Music Group is, what the services are. I mean, you kind of gone around it, but you guys are pretty specific in what you do.
So we are a full-service entertainment agency and event and concert production company. We specialize in working with municipalities. So we do, we're under annual contracts with a lot of the regional municipalities where we book all their festivals, events, concert series, outdoor amphitheaters, performing arts centers, and community theaters. We also work with a whole array of other clients too. It just depends on the needs of clients. And that's one side of our business. But the other side, we have artist representation. Used to do management, but have gotten out of that and just focus on representing artists, trying to get booked and get on a good platform out there with their music.
Yeah, and you've done very well with that. So let's talk about some of the places that would be booked, and especially in a growing city like Charlotte, and everything's happening right now. What role do local, let's say, arts and festivals play in the growth of a place like Charlotte and their vibrancy?
The arts and festivals, I feel like, are the lifeblood of every community. Communities are challenged to have to provide these type of events. And so, music is a core part of every festival and event out there. If you think about it, every festival or event has some form of music at it, whether it's a little small gathering with a DJ or a big festival with multiple bands playing on multiple stages. Music is at the heart of all of it.
Right.
And so there are endless, now more so than ever, there are endless opportunities for artists to work and make decent money doing it.
Oh yeah, you're part of like Shout, Charlotte. Yeah. You're part of that, and
17 days of entertainment.
I think that's why I ran into you last.
Yeah, that was
yeah. So, what's one event that you've produced that you'll never forget? I know we've had some great conversations on this, and why was that moment like that?
Well, I would say for ones I produced, the city of Rock Hill, we actually created an outdoor amphitheater.
I love that place.
For them.
Yeah.
And it was magical. It was an intimate 1,000-seater, and we had Michael McDonald perform there. And I would say that was probably my greatest experience with an artist, because he was so kind and so humble, had no ego about everything. And he's the first artist to ever thank the crew on stage.
Oh, yeah.
So he literally, right before he went on stage, took his Sharpie and wrote the names of every person on the crew on his arm.
Wow.
So he could acknowledge them from the stage. And that was just amazing.
That is absolutely amazing.
Probably one of my, I guess, most fun and memorable experiences goes back to my learning phase. And Doug Whitley, who used to work with Stan Barrett, who produced all the WSOC family reunion concerts.
I remember those.
He's
too.
a former William Morris agent, and he started those and took them all across the country. And so Doug was his go-to in this region. And Doug hired me to work with them. And Garth Brooks was one of the acts performing. And they had different things back then. They would have a photo line where you could get in line and go get a photo with the artist or of them performing. And then you could get in the autograph line. And so I had the photo line, and I was standing down on stage, had no idea who Garth Brooks was. I was not a country fan at that time. And this lady was standing in front of him, and I was being called on the radio saying, "You need to keep it moving, keep it moving. She needs to move."
Is that Doug?
It was Doug, yeah.
He called me many times like that. I recognize that.
She said, "Isn't he beautiful?" Looking up at Garth Brooks, and I was like, and he saw me and heard me and walked over to me and went, "Thanks." And so I was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. But years later, when I was at an industry conference in Nashville, he was there. And I went up to him and I said, "I know you don't remember me." And he goes, "Yes, I do, Miss Tina." And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die now. Like that. But he was so funny and so kind. He said that was one of the funniest moments in my life. So that was like fun, especially knowing that years later he actually remembered, but I didn't know who he was at that time.
Well, you have the upcoming artist, and of course you're not a country fan, but that's the growth of the industry.
Yeah.
And on that, what are the logistics and challenges of doing like a regional local festival versus a national?
Well, there's with regional and local, they don't really get to give you their demands. And I say that lightly with demands, but just things that they would like to have. they normally get what is there. My company, we always try to take really good care of artists and keep them
be
comfortable.
A witness to that, yeah.
And make sure that everything runs on schedule for our clients and stuff. But with national artists, they have a rider that they send in advance that is not only their tech requirements, but also their hospitality requirements.
The famous brown M&Ms, right?
Yes.
Van Halen?
Yes. So, and some of that is just to know if you're reading it or not.
Yeah.
So,
That's exactly what that was. But yeah.
But like regional artists, I would suggest to any regional artist to try to get on every festival and event that you can, because it's a built-in audience. And that's where you're going to build fan bases for yourself, by those people that wouldn't necessarily go to a club or a restaurant or a music hall to see you, but they happen to see you at this festival and event, and then they start following you after that.
Yeah, and that's a big need right there for artist education. And a lot of artists will go to events, like I've seen this over and over, being a teacher at events. But they will go to events to be on the showcase to try to get discovered. A lot of times the people there have no signing power anyway that are, at those places. But sometimes there are, depending on where you go. Sometimes there are. But the networking that you get at those events, combined with the education, this is an example right here of why you need that education. Because if you get on one of these festivals and you're in front of these people, how are those people going to find you after that? Like, how are you retaining them? How are you getting the data? And those are things that you need to learn about and attend these seminars and find these kind of things out.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Well, today, too, in today's world, everybody is bombarded digitally through emails, through the social media and everything. And so what we've seen in recent years is things actually kind of going full circle and going back to the old school way, where bands are building their mailing list and they're having people sign up at their shows.
Right.
And they put their mailing address as well as their email address. Bands are now getting more impact by mailing out a postcard every month, letting people know where they're playing, than they are with their emails and their social media, because people are just bombarded by it, but they have something they can hold in their hand.
Yeah.
It does make a difference.
I'm a believer in all of that. Even if you're trying to capture an industry person's attention, it's much better with a handwritten note and an article that you cut out of a magazine or whatever, and just an appreciation note. Or, it's one thing Ken Cragen used to do as manager, is he would send the most unique gifts to these people, and that's how he got their attention. That's how he opened doors, and those things still play out. I've been able to get in so many doors from what I learned, there from, as you say, the old school ways. Yeah. But I'm also a believer in the digital, and it's because you have to have that event strategy where people see you. They're same group of people basically, but they're seeing you from 3 different angles, and
exactly
because they have ADHD. Everybody has ADHD these days, and so you're staying in front of them. You got to learn to do it without burning yourself out, and so that comes, of course, with education. And we're gonna cover a little bit more on that in the digital age when we come back. And we're going to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors and from our friends, see what's going on at rBeatz. But you're going to stick around?
Yes, sir.
Of course you will, because you love me and I love you. But we'll be right back after this.
How's it going, fam? This is Greazy Keyz coming at you from the rBeatz studio with my own watch list, dropping on the all-new ROQ CLT radio for our global and national look at hashtag local music somewhere. Starting off with Chantel Palm, all the way from South Africa, with their song, Goodbye. From the United Kingdom, Mr. Nick with their song, Find Your Peace. From LZN Atenza, we have LCN with Lovers in Space. From right here in the USA, we have Robbie Adams with his song, Ecstasy Hotline, and Molly Moore with her song, Jameson. On the 25/8 366 Global radio stream, we have Miss Crystal with their tune, Say To Me, the Ashby remix. And on the We Global radio stream, we have Mr. Moda with Hotbox, parentheses, Texas. Now, for our own hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina, we have some featured artists with brand new releases, starting with Fat Waffle with their tune, Choose Myself. My man, Nathan Harris, with his jam, Russian. The incredible Diore with her song, Bad Thing. A very creative songwriter, Ailey Edwards, with his song, Carolina Blue. Family Video Band with their tune, Continental Drift. And my homeboys, $1,000 Movie with their song, Block Out the Sun. Be sure to check out all these streams and their beautiful music. This has been Greazy Keyz with the rBeatz.com watch list, streaming from the ROCCLT. Watch out for all the new music in your local area coming soon. Peace.
Tree. It seemed betrayed. It felt bereft. Put down your load and sing with me. I did. I stayed and never left. The tree said, look into my eyes and we will harmonize. The tree said, listen to my leaves rustle. Together let's do the hustle. The tree said, how about you breathe in and I'll breathe out. The tree said, look into my eyes and we will harmonize. The tree said, listen to my leaves rustle. Together let's do the hustle. The tree said, how about you breathe in and I'll breathe out. Ooh, you breathe in and I'll breathe out. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Welcome to the age of virtually unlimited access to film, television, and music video content. We enjoy media anywhere, anytime, delivered on web TVs, laptops, to tablets and smartphones. It's almost perfect. Introducing the next evolution of popular culture, Popology. An innovative media utility that consolidates all of your online memberships and subscriptions into a single powerhouse of infinite creative opportunities. Deploy customized micro-broadcasts to your choice of social networking platforms. Generate a fan base for your curated and self-created media. And earn rewards by selecting the brand commercials relevant to your life from within your personal micro-broadcast. Popology is your outlet to express your study and science of popular culture.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Access on your terms. You design your whole experience. This is Popology, the only place to exchange a micro-broadcast, chat about entertainment and popular culture, or simply watch infinite streaming content with others across the globe. One easy-to-use application to select and enjoy films, television, music, and so much more.
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me.
Popology is the portal to experience and utilize unlimited content and share it with your social networks.
I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Popology is all about customization and your story. Set up your inner pop sphere to organize content your way. Easily integrate other pop spheres within yours, for you and your audience.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
That's only the beginning. Be more than a passive consumer of entertainment. You are a popologist.
You talking to me?
Learn and earn a Popology U production certification from the most creative minds in the entertainment business and pop culture.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Explore becoming an expert on mass appeal. This is the future. See, think, do. And entertainment and science will never be the same. Popology. Go ahead.
Welcome back. got Tina Gibson in the studio here from Imagine Music Group. And when we left off, we were talking about kind of the modern era and what's going on. I want to ask you, how are you adapting what you do with artists and, promotion in the streaming and social media era, like where we are now?
I think everything, you just have to be flexible and be able to adapt and jump in with all feet, because in my mind, any artist promoting themselves, I've always been a believer of guerrilla marketing.
Absolutely.
So you have to take every avenue you can. It takes what they used to say, it was 7 times for someone to see or hear your name that it would stick in their brain.
Yep.
So, to me, I think artists have to jump on every avenue that they can. And I'm sure for many it becomes almost overwhelming, but there are those services now that they can set up and post as needed that will go out to all of their sites.
Right. There's so much that's helping them now. So, it's almost like when we went from, DOS to...
Okay, I don't remember that, Gary.
But, it really is. It's changed so much in what you have to do. I do hear people tell me about burnout. And, there's some that just whine about it. They're not going to do the work anyway. But there's some, it is a legitimate thing. Mm-hmm. But you are in a day and age that if you want this and it's your dream, you do need to become astute, in these areas and
without a doubt,
do some things with them, because there's a lot of competition now.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, there's so many home studios that are adept. There's
so much easier for artists nowadays.
So many platforms you can get your music out, and streaming gets you the attention. The superfan applications, the superfan sites, they also help you build that fan base where you can really concentrate on. And the people that are getting ahead are learning about that. Their team is learning about that. Bands are also getting a creative director who is part of their band, and they're paying them almost like they're a band member just to become involved, because it is so important.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because things, move so fast, and if you can't get adept at it, you need to have somebody that definitely is.
I think a band that's serious, truly serious about wanting to build a career, they need to look at also building a team of trusted people that can do these things, because the artist needs to stay creative.
Yep.
And sometimes when the artist is having to do everything, that's where the burnout comes, and it affects their creativity. So if you have a group of friends when you're starting out, that one is like a tech guru, ask him to help your band out, tell him your vision of what you are trying to do, and get everybody excited and motivated about it, and have people you can trust to do the job you're asking them to do.
And it is a job, so find a way to have them grow with you.
Exactly.
And not just, I had this preacher one time, because I hang around a lot of preachers too. And I was with somebody that was technical, and he was great at his job. He was kind of high profile. And the preacher walked up and said, "I need your gift." And he said, "What?" He said, "I need your gift." And what he was saying is, I need you to take what you've learned to do and spend all those hours, and I need you to do it for me for free. Yeah. And that's not the way it can roll. They can grow with you, because there's some things you're doing for free right now that maybe they can do for free with you. But as you grow, they should be able to grow too.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of artists forget that. And, I'm a lover of artists. I'm not I'm not overly critical of artists, because I want them to realize their dream. But there's some things that are tough talks, and
Well, yeah. For one, I think loyalty is a thing that has been forgotten, and people that are loyal to
you and I know that, don't we?
Yeah, very well. And people that are loyal to you and will help you in the beginning, you take care of those people,
right,
and do right by them, because they believe in what you're doing. And there's not every person on this planet that's going to believe in what you're doing. And take care of them. If you can pay them, pay them. If not, make them an integral part of things. Because these things, especially in this day and age, all the social media, everything, all these things that we've been talking about, they are so vitally important to an artist's career and getting them to the levels they need to get to. And you can't do that alone. You do have to have people that can help you.
Okay, well, let's give them a business lesson.
Yeah, okay.
And this can come from you.
All right.
Can you share a setback that taught you something? Because they're learning experience. A setback that taught you something about being a business leader?
Well, there's been quite a few over the years.
Well, let's give them a couple.
Do you want, like, as far as the business side of things, or like an artist or artists that I have worked with?
Just give me one of each of those.
Okay. So I had a group that I will not name, but I saw them perform at one of the festivals on the local stage that I was handling the main stage for. And I thought they were incredible. And they had family harmonies. It was amazing. And they wrote really great songs. I instantly, in that moment, became a fan of them and talked to them and asked them about representation. Long story short, I ended up managing them. And within a month, I had them playing at over 16 festivals.
Wow.
On the main stage. Had them playing out more than they ever had, and they were family, so they'd been performing for years and had not played out that much. But also I had a record label interest and also had an endorsement deal for them as well. That was, we were just going over the details of it all. And someone got in their ear that was friends in Nashville that told them that nobody in Nashville would take the phone call from somebody in Charlotte.
You hear that, all my Nashville friends? You shouldn't even be answering the phone.
And so I said, oh, really? Well, I need to call everybody I deal with and tell them not to take my calls anymore. So they said that they were letting me go. And by the way, can we keep the record deal and the endorsement deal? And I said, no. So at that moment, everything ceased for them.
Oh, yeah. I know the end of that story. I've seen it happen a few times.
And needless to say, they're not performing anymore. And it was heartbreaking for me because I was totally invested in it. And it's actually the thing that made me stop managing artists.
We know that I was just talking to an artist about this yesterday because he does have a good manager in Nashville. They are telling him the right things. And I really love this kid. And, that's one thing when we're talking about managers, you make sure they have this, and this. Or the industry people that talk to you. Just because people are in Nashville does not mean they know the music industry. A lot of my friends who are, well-known people in the music industry, we talk about these things a lot. Like people will go to, CMA Fest or one of these, big conventions or one of the booking conventions, and they'll run across Joe Schmo who, he knows all about the industry. And you see these in places that are not music capitals too.
Yes.
When I first came to Charlotte, I saw a few of these people. They were the managers. They knew everything, and I found it pretty quickly. There's a whole lot of stuff they didn't know.
Yeah.
They couldn't even get the things happening with the people locally. But you do have that in Nashville too. You have it in LA. You have it in Orlando.
That's true.
I've seen it over and over and over. So know who you're getting your information
Do your homework.
from. Yes.
Do your homework on
Yeah,
them.
because that was definitely bad advice, especially back then, because I knew the conventions that you were at in Nashville. And of course, I knew the people that knew some top hit songwriters. You're like their go-to. They'll tell me, I was talking to Tina the other day, and it's like, yeah, and you've gotten great things for them. So let's run into this real quick.
Okay.
I would say the music scene in Charlotte is growing fast, which we know. What excites you the most about its future? Because I know you've seen the ups and downs.
Oh, yeah.
So you see all the really cool things happening now, but you've seen, as they say, you've seen it all.
Well, I think everything is probably at the height that it's ever been. There's more demand for live music.
I'm amazed at how many events are packed out. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So since COVID, everything basically quadrupled. And so we literally sometimes are constantly looking for bands and constantly looking for new artists as well, because we're trying to give them platforms. And so, there is such a demand right now, and bands are making better money than they ever have on a regional level, and they're also working more.
But I had an acoustic trio that I know what they normally get. When they told me what they got for a recent gig, it was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe that they got that much just for the acoustic trio, knowing what the market is totally.
Well, yeah. I mean, and it used to be, it went through a phase where years ago it was the same way. And then it went through a downturn where it started with one venue stopped charging a cover charge. And so when they stopped charging cover charges, they also tell bands they can't pay you as much because they're not charging a cover, which is ridiculous. But anyway, so that was a downturn. But then since COVID, it's just so much going on everywhere. And it's in the demand. I have one client that we were doing one concert series for before COVID. They decided to do 3 different concert series in their town after COVID, which we are still doing. And that's basically May through October, at least twice a month. So, well, now with the 3 different series, it's 6 times a month just in that one town. We have clients that are creating new events and festivals constantly. So the demand is higher than it's ever been. The openness of original artists and unique talent is better than it's ever been in this region.
Yeah.
And but it's also too, it's people expecting artists to come and do the job that they're used to seeing artists do. So being professional and conducting yourself as a professional and not coming and expecting to be treated like Van Halen or someone like that is how you keep yourself booked.
Be likable.
Yeah. Be humble.
Yeah. Thank you, Kendrick. And on that, also, part of that humility is you're not the only band on the event.
Yeah.
Because this is something you and I talk about, is set up and tear down, make it happen quickly. That's something on one of my artists, when we were first talking to Judah, you called me on, and you're like, Terry, they need to learn to be off that stage within a certain amount of time. And so, it's one of the things that, you see is important.
When you're doing festivals, it's a plug and play.
Yeah.
And you have to trust that the sound engineer that's in that job is going to make you sound good. So do what we need you to do so you can have more time on that stage and less time setting up. And there's ways of doing that. It's very easy. Bands just have to be flexible and open to it.
What do you see the biggest mistake that artists, let's say even promoters, are making?
For promoters, I don't know. Sometimes some promoters can stay with one genre of music and oversaturate the area with that. For bands, I think it's the same thing we just talked about. It's, I have one of the girls that works for me, Jean. She's got the perfect analogy for this. She's like, know where you are. Know where you are in the game. You are a local or regional artist trying to build. Don't come in with your ego setting on your shoulders and act like somebody's lucky to have you there, because that will not get you booked again, ever. Also, do the job that's been asked to do. If we have a 30-minute changeover to get one band off and another one on, be able to do that. And if you have a sound engineer, which I have dealt with this, you have a sound engineer that is trying to prove his worth to the band, so they'll keep him on, and he can't get you dialed in that amount of time, then that's going to hurt you in the long run. I have a fantastic tribute group that I do not book very much because they have a sound engineer that they're very loyal to, and he does a good job for them. But he always puts us behind schedule, and it takes forever to get them up and going. And I have said to them before, I don't know any bands that cannot get up on a stage and be ready to go in this time. You need to look at this because it's going to affect your bookings.
Yeah, just that attitude. I had this one young man, I still really like this guy. He's a great performer. Mm-hmm. And he ended up being on one of the reality shows and doing really well. But the first reality show I took him to, what we call TV talent shows.
Yeah.
I think it was America's Got Talent that took him to first. And he brought everything, his amps, his guitar, and everything. And he's sitting in there with the producer, and you know how those auditions are. Get in, get out.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there, let me get this sound on my amp. And that's not the sound I want on the guitar. And the producer's looking at me like, Terry, what is the deal with this kid? And he blew that chance. All from thinking you have to do this instead of just going in, getting all that off your mind, going in with your instrument and just do it. Just do it, right? Plug and play, like you say. Get on, get off, and learn to retain those people. Another thing is, when you were talking about if you want to be invited back, this is a thing that it sounds simple, but artists don't realize. Having a relationship with you as a promoter, for instance, you have more than one festival.
Yes.
But the festival that they're wanting back at because they did such an incredible job, and then they get their feelings hurt because they didn't get invited back. The point is, it's not about you. It's about they needed somebody new for that next year. You might be the third year. You might be the fourth or fifth year. If you did a great job, it's likely you'll get invited back. But having that relationship with that promoter and doing what they ask can get you another festival that they're also doing, which increases your fan base and your geographical region as well. And you're obviously somebody great to know like that. And of course, Durkin and all those guys, they have so many festivals. DJ, they're all over the place with the country music festivals. Those guys have you do something. Same thing with you. Do it. Build a relationship with the promoter. Well, even if you're not invited back that next year, don't get your feelings hurt.
Well, you can't, because the whole thing is, like we were talking about earlier, people's attention spans for one. But gone are the days when you get that regular annual gig every year. Doesn't mean anything that you didn't do a good job, they didn't like you. It just means that they have to keep their event fresh every year because they are competing with other festivals and events. So you can't take that personal by no means. If they say you did a good job, then you did a good job. They're not going to tell you you did a good job if you didn't. But the whole thing is, you as an artist, okay, we did a great job for them. Let's keep ourselves in front of them. So keep communication going with them. Ask them if they have any other events that they can put you on. Yep. For myself, we book over 450 to 500 events a year. And that continues to grow. So when you work with someone like myself or even some of my peers in this business, remember you have other opportunities that might come your way. So be easy to work with, be flexible, and just be grateful to get the gigs because there's a whole long list of bands that didn't get them. Yeah. And those are the things that keep people working, keep bands working. I have an artist that I saw at a showcase a few years ago, and he never complains about anything. He and his band are always very gracious and thankful. They come in, they do the job they've been asked to do. It's a very entertaining show, and then they get in, they get out like we've asked them to, And because of my first experience with him, he has now been booked at pretty much just about every event that I do. Because we don't have time to hold your hand, sorry, and you know, help you deal with whatever you're dealing with at that moment. We have a show that we have to focus on. I always tell everybody when we do festivals and events and concerts, we don't get a do-over.
Right.
It has to be flawless that day, and that's it. We don't get to come back the next day and do it over it and correct our mistakes. So in those elements like that, we don't have time to hold your hand and tell you everything's going to be hunky-dory. Just do the job and be grateful for it and say thank you and be easy to work with, and you'll get more and more work just because of that. Your band may not even be the greatest band, but if you're entertaining and you are, like I said, grateful, you know, appreciative of people and everything, you'll get rebooked, you know.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Let's. There's other things I want to talk about. We can stay here a day for sure with this. And you know, if those that want to contact me through rBeatz, you know, you're at rBeatz.com. You can also, they always post my Instagram. You can direct message me through that. And for the people that do and talk about this show, I'll commit to rBeatz and to you to provide you with a PDF of what a festival will need and what they would expect from you to try to get booked, and maybe even about what you should do while you're there. So we'll do that. Let's talk real quick though about your events, because we'll be posting some of those as well. But what are your highlights coming up?
So, one cannot be announced until the 28th, June 28th. But we have a really big concert coming to Liberty Park Amphitheater in Mooresville.
Okay, very cool.
And then we just finished a show with Peebo Bryson.
I saw that was coming. I wanted to go. I was already booked.
That was fantastic. And that was at the Mooresville Performing Arts Center. We have our regular, like, weekly concerts that go on with the town of Davidson, the town of Mooresville, Harrisburg, July 3rd and 4th. We have 2 full days.
My wife's
That's your wife's favorite, yeah. And we usually average about 28,000 people in Harrisburg.
Powerfully packed, yeah.
Best fireworks show in town, too. So we've got some big shows like that coming up for July 3rd and 4th. We have a big Independence Day celebration on July 3rd with the town of Fort Mill. And then also on the 4th with Rock Hill and
I've been to
Red,
those
White,
too.
and Boom.
Outstanding.
And then also in Monroe with their Independence Day celebration. So, and then we're doing a new one this year on July 5th with the town of Midland, who is also going to have a fantastic fireworks show.
That's very cool.
So, our national shows, I can't announce them yet because So
how do they follow you to be able to find us out?
So they can find us on Facebook and Instagram. It's imaginemusicgroup.com. Or they can go to our website, which we have a new website up now, which is also imaginemusicgroup.com.
Very good to know.
Yeah.
My friend, thank you for coming in. I know
you for
it feels like it's been a
inviting me.
year in the making. I think I approached you to be my 3rd guest. It was somewhere.
I'm so sorry,
way back
but
then.
thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a wonderful experience.
I think they know why, because it's like it seems like you're omnipresent because you're in all these towns. I know it's your company presence, but anyway, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Love you always.
Always.
And so tell your friends about the show and make sure you tune in for, you already saw Greazy Keyz on our commercial here, the icon, and of course, Ms. Jennifer Busco and Annalise Pearl, and tune in to see what they're doing. And just tell your friends, spread the news, and let them know what we're doing at rBeatz. Thank you so much for tuning in. Much love to you. See you next time.
Hey everyone, if you're like me, music isn't just background noise, it's the soundtrack to our lives, pumping energy into our everyday moments and helping us feel, well, more alive. Today I'm excited to talk about something that's revolutionizing the way we experience music, rBeatz Radio. Created in 2012 by a diverse group of artists, songwriters, and musicians, rBeatz isn't your ordinary radio station. It's a universal, unique, boutique internet radio and media streaming service that's all about simplicity and inclusivity. Whether you're an artist looking to share your tunes or a listener craving new beats, rBeatz is here to amplify your experience. Now picture this. You're grabbing a 6-pack or 12-pack of radio streams, tuning in and discovering music that's played non-stop. 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, 366 days a year. Yes, you heard that right. rBeatz is committed to making sure your music, your voice is heard around the clock. Their mission? To provide a platform where all musical and artistic talent can shine. They keep it simple. KISS, or keep it simple sweet, with an open book policy that welcomes all creators. And the vision? It's all about inclusivity. rBeatz welcomes the most discerning listeners as well as the non-discerning ones, making it a hub for music discovery and media enthusiasts everywhere. As a member of ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, Sound Exchange, and Popology, rBeatz stands as a proud advocate and supporter of artists and musicians. By tuning into rBeatz, you're not just listening to music, you're supporting an entire community of independent musicians and artists from all over the world. So what are you waiting for? Whether you're here to listen, read, watch, or support, rBeatz is your gateway to the future of music. Join the rBeatz radio revolution. Let's make the world listen. The future of music is now, and it's waiting for you. Remember, less is always more with rBeatz. Tune in, turn up the volume, and let's change the way we experience music together. Catch you on the stream.